Hello, and welcome to Surviving League of Legends, an adaptable guide series. I'm your host, alphacide, and today we're going to be covering Warwick as a jungler. Warwick is a very versatile jungler, and he's a jungler that is great for not only new players, but incredibly experienced players alike, and in fact is probably the jungler I would recommend to anyone as a first jungler. His safety is unparalleled. Half of his kit is dedicated to healing himself, so when he's in the jungle, if he's ganked, he'll probably make it out with HP. As a result of this, he also is incredibly sustainable and can stay in the jungle for a long time. Now, the biggest downside of his kit is probably his speed. As a jungler, he's somewhat slow because all of his damage is single target. However, to make up for that, his single target damage is very high. So when it comes to killing Dragon, Baron, Golem, or Red, he kills those very quickly and very efficiently. As a ganker, he's a very weak ganker pre-level 6, because he has no gap closer and no CC. Immediately upon hitting level 6, he becomes one of the strongest gankers though. And his ultimate, Infinite Duress, allows him to gank pretty much any champion with unparalleled success. Post-jungle, Warwick becomes a very tanky DPS character who is capable of working as an off-tank with some utility for his teammates, while still doing a ton of damage in teamfights and being able to CC and shut down a carry. Now, as you can see, I started off with a long sword and a health potion on Warwick. One of the great things about having all that built-in healing is Warwick doesn't have to start with the traditional cloth armor 5 health pots. He's got all the healing initially through his kit. As you can see here, I'm going to start at blue. You can start at blue or red on Warwick.
30 seconds until minions
Blue is typically more dangerous because it's invaded more often. As you can see, I pinged, but not enough of my team came. Only 3 of us were there. As a result, we got 5-man game. Now, I have to leave because obviously on Warwick, I can't take out their whole team by myself. But one of the great upsides to playing Warwick, like I said earlier, I think, is his versatility. He's incredibly difficult to kill, he has high sustain, and he's just an all-around great option for not only beginning players, but experienced players as well. Since his single target DPS is so high, in this clip right here you can see I'm able to sneak over to their blue, steal their blue alone, and since we have vision on them, I know it's safe. As a result, I'm still getting blue even though they invaded and stole my blue. Right about here you can see me going to my bottom lane. Now the reason I'm going to my bottom lane is because there's no one there, so all the creeps are killing the other creeps. Now, if you're playing any jungler and you decide you're going to get some farm from another lane that is unoccupied, one thing you have to remember is you need to only last hit. Lots of people will get angry at you for last hitting, but it's not going to press the lane. If you sit there and auto attack, it's going to push the lane, and as a result, when your lane partner gets there, they're going to be closer to the turret and more vulnerable. So always make sure just to last hit. One of the most beneficial reasons to play a jungler is that you don't have to rely on an immediate lane partner. In this clip right here you can see that I'm going top to try to help Olaf gank. I have red buff and he has a slow. Even though I'm pinging, he's not paying attention. As a result, we miss an easy kill on Riven. The good thing about being a jungler though is even though I did miss that easy kill on Riven, I get to go straight back to the jungle, kill my neutral creeps. And his poor gameplay isn't going to affect me that much because I only lost 20-30 seconds. I'm not stuck with him the full 20 minutes in the lane. Before you hit level 6 on Warwick, ganking is an option. However, it's not as viable as an option as post level 6. The reasoning behind this is because Warwick will have no CC aside from red buff, and he has no gap closing. Once Warwick hits 6 though, he becomes a very formidable ganker. His ultimate, Infinite Duress, is a 1.8 second dash stun, and with the combination of being able to hide in bushes by jungle and just pop out of nowhere, at level 6 he becomes an amazing ganker. So until level 6 you may want to try to gank once or twice, but it shouldn't be a priority. Getting your creep up so you can get to level 6 should be your biggest priority. Once you hit level 6, on the other hand, ganking should be your biggest priority since you become such a strong ganker. In this upcoming clip, you'll notice I'm trying to gank Morgana, one of the hardest champions to gank on Warwick. She hits a clutch spell shield right as I'm about to teleport, and unfortunately blocks the stun on my ultimate. But as a result of the attack speed buff and the damage output from the block, we're able to get her. You'll note I flashed away to miss the last tower shot and healed off the creep to save myself from getting killed by Ignite. This is the combination of tanky spells and Warwick's kit that just make him so incredibly hard to kill and such a viable jungler.
Rampage.
Skip ahead about 5 minutes and I'm going to gank Kog'Maw. I'd like to point out one of the biggest issues with ganking on Warwick that I see in players. Lots of players use their ultimate to initiate a gank. Now the biggest issue with using your ultimate to initiate a gank is if they have flash, they'll flash right away right afterwards. If you're ganking someone who doesn't have an escape as part of his kit, you should be trying to get a red buff slow or some damage out with your auto attacks, and you should use your R to keep them from escaping as opposed to initiating a 1v1 gank. Immediately after getting that gank, I knew that there were only 4 of the enemy team alive, and as a result I pinged to kill Dragon. Dragon is one of the most valuable assets to get, and Warwick can tank it without an issue. But you should always be aware of your surroundings to make sure that you're not going to get ganked by the enemy team while you're busy taking Dragon. To summarize this guide, Warwick is a champion that almost anybody should be open to jungling on. Warwick is a champion who has weak ganks pre-level 6, but then becomes a very valuable asset to your team post-level 6. The best items to get on Warwick are anything that involves armor or magic resist, as he's a champion that's tankiness primarily comes from his ability to heal himself. The more armor and magic resistance you have, the more effective your healing will be versus the enemy team's damage output. When you're playing Warwick, since he's not a very high scaling damage champion, as in he doesn't scale with damage items very much, you should be trying to assist instead of trying to kill. And as a result, you can see here at my end, I ended up 117, which is a good score for a Warwick. That means I was able to assist my team on taking down 7 kills, and I only last hit 1 of them. Typically, you'll have another champion on your team who scales much better with gold, and Warwick doesn't really need too much gold to be effective, so always remember your carry and always try to get him fed. When playing Warwick in the jungle, you'll note that I'm using Smite and Flash. The reason I use Flash is because if you're forced to solo Baron or Dragon, then you can stand behind it, and then if someone comes to gank you, you can flash away. Additionally, if you have to ultimate someone, it can be a gap closer to get you in range of your ultimate. Warwick is also viable as a solo top, and I intend to cover that soon. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below in the comments section. If you have any ways I could make this guide series better, make sure to tell me. And subscribe to my channel if you liked it, because I put a bit of work into this and I intend to make more guides. Thanks.